All right, we are live here.
Live here.
This is new. I do not know how to make it so that you do not see me. I'm trying to do that. Let's do that. Is this going to do it? Nope. Oh, Zesty Eggnog, you have a lot to say. Participants, no. All right, we'll just do it this way. At least for now, until I can figure out how to share a screen in live streaming. This is weird. I don't like this. Hold on. So if you guys have questions, you can start posting them in here. It says that I should be able to do this, but I am not seeing how to do that. What are these things? No, that doesn't do it. Top chat. I don't really want to see the top chat or the live chat. I don't want to see the chat at all. Toggle timestamps. I don't want to do that. All right. I don't want to do that either. All right. People are asking questions. I can answer them. An immigrant is a person who leaves a country to settle somewhere else. So like when you guys were telling your immigration stories in class, your family member who first came to the United States, or maybe it was you, is both an immigrant and an emigrant. Immigrant with an I, emigrant with an E. They're an immigrant of the place that they came from, and they're an immigrant to the United States. So, for example, I told you guys about my great-grandmother. She came from Ireland, and she came to the United States. She is an emigrant with an E of Ireland, and she's an immigrant to the United States. Yep, not so anonymously. Also fantastic. Kamal asks how many questions? 25. Pearl asks about labor systems, economic depression. Those are just examples of push factors, things that made immigrants to the United States leave their countries. They include things like economic depression or slow economic development, and many of these people who were pushed out of their countries were pulled to the United States because of economic opportunities that existed during industrialization, free public education, the ideals of the U.S. Constitution and the Declaration of Independence drew people to the United States as well. Those were pull factors. The idea that all men and women were supposed to be created equally, and that the United States was going to allow freedom of speech and freedom of equality, and allow people to own land as well. Steerage is. Let me see. I don't know how to share specific images to you. This is weird. I don't like this very much. You know what I'll try to do? Hold on. Maybe I'll screen. Let's see here. This is a computer. That's a terrible video. That's not going to work. So steerage has to do with Ellis Island, or the trip to the United States from Europe mostly. Steerage was a large open space at the bottom of a boat where most passengers, most of them being third-class passengers, it's the area of the bottom of the ship where third-class passengers stayed during the steamship trip to the United States. That's steerage. This is... None of those things are that thing. Okay. All right, then. I'm still trying to find a picture or a way to not do this. All right, so that's steerage. Yep, Not So Anonymously has a great job. Tenement, it's not a small house. It's a small apartment we looked at a lot of pictures of tenements in. Let me see if I can open up. Tenements. I'll share a Google search link with you guys, an image link. Maybe you guys can click it. Maybe we can do it that way. The tenements were the small, they were big apartment buildings, and inside of the tenement buildings were small apartments where mostly poor immigrants stayed when they came to the United States. There's a link. I think that'll work. OBS. Fowler, thank you. I have, this is, YouTube has a new thing for live streaming videos. It's a different format, and it's new to me today. If it wasn't, I think I would have the screen share thing figured out. For now, I just posted a link of what tenements look like inside. Yep, and that's what I honestly explained. Those are the houses that immigrants lived in because they were cheap, 100%. But the important thing to remember is that the living conditions in those tenements were really, really poor. They were not clean. They did not all have running water. There was not always ventilation. Sickness and disease spread really quickly there in those tenement buildings. It was really unsafe, unsanitary, unhealthy to live in them. All right. So the difference between the melting pot and the salad bowl, they're like assimilation ideas. Remember that assimilation means, let me put the definition in the chat. Assimilation is, it's changing your culture to fit in to a new culture. And there are two ideas about assimilating into a new culture, assimilating into the United States. The one idea is that the United States it's a melting pot where cultures blend together to form a new American culture. And in the process of this happening, immigrants change to blend in. The salad bowl idea is the idea that different cultures and ethnicities can exist in the United States side by side, mixing together a little bit, but they're also independently identifiable. Let me see. Is Wyoming real? Wyoming is absolutely 100% a real state. It is not a lie. Let me see if I can get you guys the images for that we use for salad bowl and melting pot. Salad bowl. That's just salads, which is delicious, just not what we're looking for. All right, so this is the salad bowl. It's a visual. It says it's too many things. Hold on. This is a link that is not too many characters. This link that I just posted here has a really short, succinct explanation of the difference between the salad bowl and melting pot theories, and visuals to go with them. The visuals are helpful, I think, in seeing them. The article is a little bit, yeah. Not really loving the article that it goes there, but I do like the imaging from CG Learned. I don't know who CG Learned is. All right, let's go back. Quora has a better site. All right. All right. Falzar asked a question. Is Canada a state? It is not as a country. Assimilation, Sweet Mina, I defined up at the top. It's when you change to fit into a new place. You change who you are, your culture a little bit to fit into a new place. For example, like if you move to a different town or a different state, you might change the way you dress or the type of music you listen to fit into the new place that you are living. We talked about assimilation when we talked about Western expansion. The Native Americans were forced to assimilate into American culture. The United States government forced Native Americans to, move on, to abandon their old culture and to be, instead of nomadic hunter-gatherers, they forced them onto individual plots of land or reservations. And then later on, in Oklahoma, they took reservation land away from Native Americans actually and forced them to become individual farmers, which was very much against their culture. And then in this unit, we talk about assimilation because immigrants that come to the United States are sometimes there's a debate over how much immigrants should, and there's a conflict over how much immigrants should assimilate. There's the desire for immigrants to, when they come into a new place, to fit in, but also they want to preserve their old culture as well, their old way of life, because that's comfortable and that's important to them. And that's where the salad bowl and melting pot theories come into play. And the melting pot theory of assimilation, immigrants kind of blend in, they change their culture to fit in, they can change maybe a great deal. And then in the salad bowl idea, immigrants don't change their cultures or ethnic backgrounds, or they're not expected to change how they act very much at all. And they exist side by side, kind of like a salad. Like if you made, when you make a salad at home, you put in a lot of different ingredients: lettuce, tomatoes, cucumbers, radishes, black olives, cheese, and you mix them all together, and you can still pick out each individual item if you wanted to. If you could apply that to different cultures, that's what it would be like. And the United States very much was a salad bowl of different cultures during the era of new immigration, and today as well, as different and new immigrants arrive. So, like, for example, there were most immigrants, when they came to the United States in the era of new immigration, they moved into towns and neighborhoods. Hold on, my wife can't open the door. I know. No, you didn't. You didn't. So I tried, but then I forgot, and I was late. It's not. It's tomato soup. All right.
You back in the bed?
Yeah, I did.
Did you get emotional?
No. All right. So when immigrants came to the United States from their countries during the era of new immigration, they tended to settle in, especially like New York City, in neighborhoods or communities where there were other people from the same country. And that's where Little Italy came from. That's why there was a Chinatown. The Lower East Side ended up being being the home to a large Jewish community. And in those neighborhoods, those ethnic enclaves or those ethnic communities, it was very much like being not in the United States in those neighborhoods. Like, everyone spoke Italian in Little Italy. Italian food was served or sold. Italian groceries, Italian clothing, Italian religious services were held there. And then if you went to the next neighborhood over, Chinatown, all the signs would have been in Chinese grocery stores, Chinese food restaurants, Chinese houses of worship or places. It would have been very different depending on what neighborhood you were in New York City. All right. All right, let me scroll up because I missed a bunch of stuff. No, nothing party. So the know nothing party is a confusing thing because know nothing political party, that sounds like a dumb name for a political party. And it was. You just need to know that it was an example of nativism in the United States, the Know Nothing Party. The Know Nothing Party very much did not want immigrants coming into the United States in large numbers, especially the Irish were the targets of the Know Nothing Party. I'll get the 100 if you show the dog. You want to see the dog? Let me hold on. We get to the end. Nativism. Nativism is the idea, and there are degrees to nativism, but the basic idea in nativism is that government rules and laws should favor people who already live in a country instead of immigrants. And it can go so far as being anti-immigrant and to limiting immigration in people who are nativist. And nativism had a dramatic impact on the United States during the era of new immigration. As new immigrants from outside the United States came in, people from Italy and Greece. Yes, I did feed the dogs.
The chicken or the food?
Regular dog food. As they came from Southern and Eastern Europe, Greece, Italy, places like Russia and Poland, and these new immigrants spoke different languages and practiced a different religion than the old immigrants who had been living here for quite some time. Nativist feelings increased, and there was a desire to limit the amount of immigrants that came into the United States, and that's when the United States passed Immigration Quota Acts and other laws to restrict immigration. That's briefly explaining nativism. It's in its simplest terms, it's favoring people who already live in a country instead of immigrants with rules and laws. Yep, and Zesty Eggnog, even shorter. Nativism was against immigrants. Nativists were against immigrants. Yeah, like the KKK was a nativist organization. The Know Nothing Party was a nativist organization. The Know Nothing Party, I said before, it's just that they're a nativist political party from the 1850s. Broken showers fixed. Yes, not so anonymously. Great response about that. Feed the dogs the chicken, they deserve better. Maybe tomorrow. I will show the dog later. You don't have to see the student council has power over the school. That's interesting. That's pretty funny. Steerage again. I'm going to say it's in immigrants came to the United States via steamship. The steerage area is the large open bottom space that most immigrants coming to the United States where they had to stay when they were traveling to the United States by steamship. Okay. I will definitely show the dog. I promise that I will show Molly and maybe Daisy. She's Ice Music Productions. Ice Music Productions is here. That's great. Tenements. So I'll post another image link there about the tenements. You could, if you search Jacob Riis tenements, that will also get you the images I'm going to send you. So all right. That's tenements. They're the really terrible apartments that immigrants had to live in. Christine, Ellis Island is the island where immigrants were processed into the United States. You guys did let me Google it let me give you guys a link to it. You guys did this interactive tour. All right. I don't know what Geometry Dash is. I'm not going to play that. Immigration Act of 1921. That was a law that limited immigration into the United States. We put it in our notes today that it's the Quota Act of 1921, and it was repassed and made permanent in 1924. So I'll put a definition in this chat. Immigration law of 1921 is the law that limited immigration to the United States. My dogs are all kinds of messed up. So DJ Kumar, economic depression is just a reason that forced many immigrants to leave their home countries and come to the United States. Got it. Nice music productions. I hope you do good tomorrow also. Have a good night.
We can see you.
Yeah, I know. I don't know how to do it the other way. This is
neck.
new. Yeah, I didn't want them to see my face at home. And these are the curtains. Don't be weird, wife. And Nora,
Why don't you just post it there and then no one can see you?
because that's weirder, I think. I'm not really excited about the whole thing either. I remember now. My dogs are messed up.
What's
I'm
messed up?
sorry. Use OBS. Hamish for his wife is really nice. She's all right. So, man, I don't like this. All right. The only other thing I want to remind you guys of before I switch gears here is the different waves of immigration. Remember, there's old immigration, immigrants came from Northern and Western Europe. That's mostly England, Germany, like Finland and Sweden. New immigration, which isn't new to us. It's old to us now, just not as old as old immigration. We'll say it's like 1870 to about, basically the 1920s. And immigrants were mostly from
Should I save this stuff for the dog?
It- yeah. When I say Southern and Eastern Europe, I mean like Greece and Italy and Poland and Russia. And then the modern wave it's the 1950s, but really ratchets up in the 1960s to the present day. And immigrants are mostly from Central and South America and Asia. Oh, good though files are aiming true content. I love that you're advertising on this. That's fantastic. I will totally check out Falzar Gaming. Not right now. All right. Let me see. Let me change gears. Let me open up the test and see what are some things that maybe I haven't talked about yet that we need to talk about. Great. Let's pull up the test.
Dogs have celery,
Yeah, they can have celery.
but not onion, right?
I don't know about onion.
I don't think so.
All right. So new immigrants, if we're talking about new immigrants, remember we're talking about immigrants from Southern and Eastern Europe that came in the late 1800s and early 1900s. We know when they first came to the United States, they worked in low-wage jobs, low-skill jobs. They lived in cities primarily because that's where the jobs were. They were paid low wages, and they tended to, just like today, settle in communities where people are with people who were from the same country, so that there was some comfort and community in a new place. Asia is not in. Asia is not inside Europe. Geologically speaking, it's possible that that some geologists say that Europe isn't really its own continent, but geographers say it is. And Europe is next to Asia. It's to the west of Asia. Video self-promotion. How did the United States become so diverse, Christine? Is because different in each of the different waves of immigration that are up a little bit farther in the chat. Each wave came at a different point in time, and during each wave, different people from different countries came to the United States. All right. The new immigrants were different from the old immigrants in that they were from Southern and Eastern Europe, and they were not all or not mostly Protestant. They spoke different languages, and they practiced Christianity a little bit different. And there are also large numbers of Jewish people from Eastern Europe came as well. Where did most immigrants settle? When they came between 1890 and 1920, like we said before, those cities and in ethnic communities or neighborhoods that were where people were generally speaking from the same place. We talked about melting pots and salad bowls. The basic idea of the melting pot is immigrants will blend their cultures to create an American culture. What else? True about. We know that there was immigrants came to the United States really hoping to experience a much, much better life initially, and they faced sometimes a lot of hardship and discrimination. Over time, like we saw in the Yannick film, immigrant families were able to achieve what they believed was the American dream. A lot of times, the initial people to immigrate to the United States had a tough time, and then when their kids had more opportunities than them by going to public school and going to college in the United States. Remember the overcrowded, poorly built apartments? We said those were tenements. Before 1880, most immigrants came from Northern and Western Europe. That would be places like Germany. The United States also changed from before the new era of immigration. The United States was largely a Protestant nation, and it changed a great deal so that people from it was a country of different ethnic groups. We know that the Chinese Exclusion Act, the Gentleman's Agreement, and the National Origins Act all were examples of nativism. Cool. All right, let me keep going. Immigration into the United States increased because of industrialization.
Is there a midterm tomorrow?
Not a midterm, just the test.
Then why are you talking about Asia? You were talking about immigration. Sure.
Because immigrants came from Asia.
I know that.
Oh,
I
I
thought you were
guess.
talking about the tenements.
We were. Because immigrants lived in the tenements.
That's not what I meant.
Oh.
I thought you were talking about the Italian, the Irish wave. Okay, I'm gonna stop talking.
Why did many people leave Eastern Europe during the late 1800s, early 1900s? We know that Jews especially left because of the pogroms. Many Irish left in the mid-1800s because of the Irish potato famine. That's basically the test. That's it. That's the whole thing. All right, let me show you a dog. Come here.
You only want Molly?
Well, that's the only one that's going to come. Hey, say hi, Molly. Bye. All right.
Daisy's here.
Up, Daisy. Come here. Oh, we're both here. So excited. Oh, hooray. All right, that's enough. Oh, well, now they think they're going for a walk. That's a good job.
Yeah, we're
All right. All right. Those are the dogs. That's it. Do you guys have any other questions?
You're not doing what they got.
I'm sorry about your friend. Nativism is being, wanting to have rules and laws that favor native or people who already live in a country instead of immigrants. Oh no, that's enough of the dogs. Soap was invented already. Yeah, I mean, I think so. Yeah. I'm glad you guys like the doggies. Do you guys have any other questions? Is soap wet? Not until it gets water on it. Plessy versus Ferguson not going to be in the test tomorrow. Water is not wet is the science of it, right? Isn't that the trick question? All right. It's 9:06. We've been doing this for 36 minutes. If you guys have any other questions, email me. I'll address them first thing when we start each class period tomorrow. Yeah, you're going to be ready. You're ready for the test. You're going to do great. It's fantastic. It's a lot of questions on the same things, like where new immigrants came from and the experience of new immigrants when they came to the United States, and then a lot of questions about nativism and how that impacted immigrants when they came. No, you're not going to fail. You guys have a great night. Next time, you won't have to look at the curtains and my shoulder. I think.
Just leave the
All right.
camera on the dog.
Good night, everybody.
Night.